Hi everybody, and welcome back to Anti-Hero Stories. Today we're going to swap the heroes and villains in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, and see how this changes the story. We have a lot of exciting material to cover, so let's jump in. We join the criminal ranks of the rebels on the ice planet Hoth, where Luke and Han are on patrol, searching for signs of the law enforcement patrols of the Empire. As before, Luke is attacked by a Wampa and dragged back to its ice cave. Back at the rebel base, Han is preparing to leave when Leia confronts him about staying. Han initiates their lover spat, trying to provoke Leia into admitting her feelings for him, and we fortunately still get this memorable exchange from the movie.
Fredo's gonna leave without giving you a goodbye kiss? I just assumed he's a Wookiee. I can arrange that. You can use a good kiss!
They soon discover that Luke's missing, prompting Han to go looking for him. We jump now to the ice cave where evil Luke hangs unconscious. We'll pick up the narration of the story here to get a look at Luke's first movie experience using the Force without Obi-Wan's help. Just as a reminder, in our previous video for Star Wars A New Hope, among the many changes, the Death Star is now known as the Central Intelligence Peace Planet in this anti-hero galaxy. Now let's get to the story from Luke's perspective. Luke's senses fought through the fog in his mind. His head throbbed and the slightest movement sent a jolt of dizziness through him. Using what strength he could muster, he opened his eyes to the stinging welcome of the bitter cold. As he regained focus, he found himself in a sizable ice cave and heard the crunching and grinding of something eating. He glanced to his side to see his Wampa attacker tearing flesh from a large piece of bone, blood staining the fur around its mouth. Adrenaline rushed through him as Luke became aware of his dangerous situation. He tried to move his feet, but they were frozen into a thick block of ice in the ceiling, leaving him dangling like vulnerable prey. He tried to reach his feet to claw at the ice, but his attempts failed. He let himself hang as anger erupted in his chest. How could he have allowed himself to be captured by such a pathetic beast? He assessed his options and noticed his lightsaber partially buried in a nearby snowbank. Luke reached for his weapon, willing his hand to grab it, but it was too far. He tried to swing to it, but his trapped feet limited his motion. When he had no more to give, he swore and allowed himself to hang in frustration. As he scolded himself in silence, Luke remembered the training Obi-Wan gave him aboard the Millennium Falcon during his lightsaber exercises. "Stretch out with your feelings," Obi-Wan had said. "Let your hate guide your actions." Following these instructions, Luke had successfully deflected the ball-shaped droid's stinging laser shots with his lightsaber, despite not being able to see through his helmet's blast shield. Reaching out with his hate, the Force gave him the power to destroy the Central Intelligence Peace Planet. It could help him reach his lightsaber. He closed his eyes and focused his hate, this time on his Wampa attacker. In his mind, he saw the lightsaber obey his call and come to his hand. Determined, Luke opened his eyes and reached for his weapon. An unseen energy seemed to emit from his hand to his lightsaber like a giant magnet trying to pull the metal handle toward him. But nothing happened. Deeper in the cave, the Wampa stirred and looked at Luke. He set his meal down and lumbered towards his prey. Luke's anger swelled and he stretched out further with his hate. The lightsaber shifted in the snow as the crunch of the Wampa's heavy steps grew louder. Luke gritted his teeth and strained to reach his lightsaber while willing it to him with all his hate. His weapon moved again as the Wampa's stench reached his nose. When his fear and hate climaxed, the lightsaber flung to his hand just as the Wampa reached striking distance. In one fluid motion, Luke ignited his weapon and used it to release his feet from their icy prison. The Wampa lunged to attack as Luke scrambled to his feet. Luke swung his weapon, anger and revenge guiding the blade to sever the beast's head. He stared at the Wampa's corpse, relishing the kill, before darting out of the cave to head back to the rebel base. As he makes his way back to the base, Luke sees Obi-Wan's Force Ghost, who tells him to go to Dagobah to find Yoda just before he passes out. But he's still found and saved by Han. The two friends are rescued the next morning and return to the rebel base where Luke is nourished back to health. Of course, Leia still does her part to revive Luke's spirits in an effort to prove a point to Han.
Well, I guess you don't know everything about women yet.
Though being on the villain side of things, their kiss lasts even longer than the original installment, and has a little more, passion to it. Let that haunt your dreams. Soon after, the Empire discovers their location and the Battle of Hoth unfolds. After his white suit was damaged in the Central Intelligence Peace Planet's explosion, Vader shows up in his new gray suit, showing his subtle shift to the dark side, just as Luke's costumes got darker in the original movies to show his shift to the dark side. The Millennium Falcon takes off as Vader arrives and the Empire chases after them, except once they get to the asteroid field, Vader calls off his fighters to avoid them being killed. Instead, he deploys a large fleet at various points on the outskirts of the asteroid field and goes in with the Star Destroyers. At this point, Luke heads to Dagobah, a lush green planet that's one giant rainforest. He crashes in a small lake, getting his fighter stuck in its depths. As before, he unloads his X-Wing and eats with R2-D2 at his side, but when he has a strange feeling they're being watched, he spins with his blaster in hand only to see a short pterodactyl-like creature with green leathery skin, pointy ears, and dangerous eyes. Everything about this stranger told Luke to be cautious. Even the creature's deep wrinkles seemed to ooze an unspoken threat. In his hand, the pterodactyl held his own blaster aimed at Luke's heart. "Welcome here you are not," the pterodactyl said. Okay, I'm really not going to try to do Yoda, but I will change my voice a little bit. "Welcome here you are not," the pterodactyl said. "I'm not interested in being welcome," Luke replied. I'm here to find someone. The Tridactyl extended his arm and moved the blaster closer to Luke, one green finger firmly on the trigger. Found someone you have. Kill you I can. Luke followed suit, pointing his blaster in a more threatening way. I don't think so. Luke fired his weapon, but with a wave of his hand, the Tridactyl redirected the blast into a nearby tree, then lifted Luke off the ground with a force chokehold. The creature spewed a tirade of profanities, lecturing Luke on his foolishness. What say you before you die? The creature asked. Yoda, Luke said in a hoarse whisper. I need to find Yoda. The little green creature's eyes narrowed into angry slits. He dropped Luke and shuffled away. You know the ways of the Jedi, Luke said as he got to his feet. Do you know him? Push me further, you should not, the creature said as he continued on. Luke rushed to block his path. Perhaps if you knew me, you would help me. The creature scoffed at his words. My name is Luke Skywalker. The creature looked at Luke with an unreadable expression as Obi-Wan appeared at their side. Luke's eyes shifted to the Force Ghost. Ben? Don't walk away, old friend, Obi-Wan said to the creature. I sent him to you. Luke's eyes widened as his head snapped around to face the small green creature again. Yoda? He looked back to Obi-Wan. No! Ben, Yoda is supposed to be a great Jedi warrior. In a blur of motion, Yoda jumped at Luke, produced his lightsaber, and ignited the crimson blade, thrusting it dangerously close to Luke's neck. Luke could feel the heat of the blade singeing the hair on his skin. Judge me by my size, do you? Yoda said, baring his sharp teeth. Yoda, do not be rash. This boy can help us, Obi-Wan said. Will he finish what he begins? Yoda asked. I won't fail. Yoda turned his blade and moved it ever so closer to his neck, cutting off Luke's response. Yoda glanced at Ben. He is too old. Too old to begin the training. Luke shuffled backward away from Yoda's blade and grabbed the lightsaber at his belt. A guttural scream screeched from Yoda's throat as the green Jedi Master charged the boy and swung his red blade. Luke managed to ignite his own blade and block Yoda's death strike just inches from impact. I am ready to be trained as a Jedi, Luke said. I'm not afraid. Yoda's ears perked up. Oh, you will be. You will be. I think I'll stop here for now. There's so much story left that I want to have time to do it justice without making this video way too long. Be on the lookout for Empire Strikes Back Part 2 in the weeks to come as we draw closer to the fight between Vader and Luke. Until next time, in a galaxy far, far away on Anti-Hero Stories.